Hey, Randy, well, the wind is picking up, kind of blowing you around. You kind of have to lean back in it just to stay standing. This is Lenny here. Lenny, you live here.
Yeah.
How concerned are you as this thing blows in?
You can tell how high it's getting right now, and there's a few more hours till high tide. This is going to come right over the jetty. This place is going to get all flooded up. Yeah. It's going to flood right up.
What's your concern as you look over there to the jetty and the waves
just
crashing?
How high is getting already, and it's not even high tide yet. So you can do the math. When it gets high tide, it's going to come right over that jetty, and this place is going to get flooded.
And we can see some people out here this morning on the seawall. Kind of dangerous proposition there, but the wind at least pushing him in. But this wind, it's only getting stronger. It's just going to pull the water, push it in right against these homes.
Absolutely. There's no way out of it. I just feel bad for the people who live here.
You've lived here your whole life.
Oh, my, yeah.
So you've seen a lot of storms.
I've been here through every storm, even the 78 storm. This is crazy down here.
Yeah, rank this one as you compare them to your life.
From what I can see right now, I say it's probably like a 6 or maybe 6.5, 7.
Yeah, and show me over here at the seawall. We're expecting, high tide around 11:30 this morning. What are we going to see when that comes here?
This is going to come right over the seawall. I've seen it right up, probably halfway up these houses here. This is all going to be pushed right over to the street. It's going to be a mess down here. You won't ever be able to get around right out here. You're going to have loaders down here moving the rocks out of the way.
Yeah, already we see the sea foam splashing against the wall here. These houses are boarded up. These people know what they're dealing with here.
Absolutely.
But you know this is just the beginning of it.
Oh, yeah.
This is going to get a lot worse.
You can tell it's going to get a lot worse because look at that water, how high it's getting already. So I advise everybody to pack up in about an hour and a half or so.
And Lenny, you kind of have an interesting perspective on this because you're also a landscaper.
Yes.
You're out there trying to trim trees, get it prepared for this storm, but then the big rush comes when this is all out of here.
Yeah, we're cleaning a lot of people's gutters, and if any storm drains around their house, we're keeping them nice and clear.
And what are you expecting in terms of damage, trees down, things like that?
A lot of limbs and a lot of little trees and limbs are down. I don't know.
You've seen that already?
Absolutely, yeah. And on the way here, I've seen some limbs down on the side of the road already.
You got some big gusts bringing down trees. You're going to be busy.
Yeah, I live about a mile away from here, so I'm pretty well cleared with the flooding and everything. Okay. But you just got to just take it as it comes and stay indoors,
Got that right. That is the best. Thank you, Lenny.
Got a tough job.
Yeah.
Okay?
It's not easy all the time. And Lenny tells us, thanks a lot, Lenny, that we're going to be underwater here, by 11:30 noon as the water comes over here, filling this area right up against these homes. A lot of these homeowners, of course, taking precautions. They've got the storm shutters up, some of them boarding up their windows. This is the seawall, though, that failed about 2 years ago. So a lot of homeowners watching this, but some curious people also coming down here looking at this angry ocean, but really only a couple hours left until high tide here, and these waves are coming right over this seawall. Randy, Bianca?
All right, thank you, John.
And Lenny.
Lenny the landscaper, with some good advice. Gives you an hour, pack up and get out of there.
It's great to see people, though, who have lived there for so long. And he says, he thinks it's a 6 right now, and it's going to get worse. But Scituate is advising coastal residents to evacuate their homes at high tide before will open as a shelter if need be. It's not a mandatory evacuation, but again, take extreme caution because it is so intriguing to try and go and get closer, but it really isn't the best idea.
As we mentioned, of course, the state of emergency has been declared by the governor. That was done, and that activated the state emergency management services. And we're talking now with Peter Judge from the Massachusetts Emergency Management Agency. Peter, thank you for being with us. So what's the latest with the bunker there?
Good morning, Randy. As you mentioned, 9 o'clock yesterday morning, we fully activated the State Emergency Operations Center out here in Framingham. We literally have hundreds of folks up here from the various federal, state, and local agencies and organizations, from the Red Cross to FEMA, as well as representatives from the various utilities, ready to respond and doing a lot of pre-positioning of assets around the Commonwealth as we speak.
Peter, this is not, our first rodeo here, and you've done this for many years. Tell us right now where you're focusing some of your attention as we watch the latest track of Sandy and the impact.
Well, the focus along the coast is obviously important for us. We continue to have had conversations with all of the public safety officials up and down the coast from New Hampshire to the Rhode Island border. We are prepositioning a lot of assets, as I said, National Guard assets, a lot of equipment to deal with either assisting local communities if in fact they do have some evacuation issues, assisting with the potential shelter openings as well. But also we can't forget the entire state could end up with some major power outages. So we can't totally focus on one part of the state at this point. So we're going to have to deal with the wind and the debris that comes with it.
Speaking of those possible outages, of course, that has been a real point of contention for a number of storms, how the utility companies handle this. And we've been reporting, we've been told that the protocol has changed in terms of how the utilities are notified of the outages.
That's true. The governor asked them, probably very strongly asked them to submit plans for this event, which they have. I know they've brought in many assets from around the country. You see a lot of utility trucks with Michigan license plates on them right now, because I know there are a slew of vehicles and personnel from the central part of the country that have been pre-positioned. And as I mentioned, for the first time, we have liaisons from all of the utilities right here with us in the bunker in Framingham to help coordinate a lot of the communication. Part of the problem with the recent storms were, bucket trucks would show up to fix something, but they couldn't get down the street because there was no chainsaw crew with them to clear the road or give them access to the wires or the poles. We've done a lot of pairing up those crews so they can work more efficiently. But the bottom line will be when the storm is over, we'll be able to evaluate how well they performed, and we'll keep our fingers crossed that although we know a lot of people will be losing their lights, how quickly we can get them back on.
Oh, this will be the test. Sandy's definitely going to test these new plans and measures, communication put in place. Peter, someone at home is watching. What's your advice to someone at home? And we know these evacuations are not mandatory as of yet, but you're talking about the concern about the flooding and getting people out. What do you say to somebody?
Well, it's a common sense issue. If you live in a coastal area, part of, the beauty of living down by the beach is you've got to deal with the ocean and the wind down there. And if your local officials think that you are in an area of town that's in harm's way and suggest that you evacuate, I really want you folks to, consider it. And not just for yourselves, but for the safety of the public officials who ultimately many times get called after the fact, where they've got to show up now in boats to help you leave your home, where all of a sudden you realize, gee, you made a mistake when you didn't evacuate, when you were asked when things were safe. So, think of other people, not just yourselves, when it comes to listening to public officials.
All right, Peter, thank you so much. We'll be checking in with you, obviously, throughout the day and night. Peter Judge from MEMA, the Massachusetts Emergency Management Agency.
And we're staying on with you through the air. And as we continue to watch Sandy, this is the Virginia coastline right now, and you can see the effects already being felt here. Sandy is whipping up the seas, and we do expect to feel a lot of the effects as we approach high tide. So stay with News Center 5. We'll continue to bring you extended coverage as we track Hurricane Sandy.
We have to work on a collaborative basis. Look, the reason I'm in this race is there are people that are really hurting today in this country. And we face this deficit could crush the future generations. And Republicans and Democrats both love America, but we need to have leadership in Washington that will actually bring people together and get the job done, and could not care less if it's a Republican or a Democrat. I've done it before.
And so we continue to monitor and make sure that we're in communications with any ships that are out there.